I'm John Batchelor, Gordon Chang, Forbes.com contributor. Is here with me, and Rick Fisher of the International Assessment and Strategy Center joins us to comment on a rumor, of a fact, of a report, of a speculation, of a rumor. That's enough caveats to say that this is a piece, I'm looking at the one in the Daily Beast, but it points to an article that appeared in China about an aircraft that flies 5 times the speed of sound. That is called hypersonic. Rick, a very good evening to you. A hypersonic aircraft, what is it good for? And is it credible that it exists in China?
It is possible that it exists in China, and we know that China is investing in all the technologies needed for building hypersonic or high supersonic speed aircraft, an aircraft that can travel from inside the atmosphere to outside the atmosphere and back again. They call them cross-air vehicles. But does the aircraft in the David Axe story actually exist? We can't say for sure. It is one story that appeared in a reputable Chinese publication sponsored by the largest state-owned aircraft company, yes, but the Chinese response on many websites to this story has been the stock phrase that you see often used in response to stories like this, and that is the phrase, "No picture, no truth." Even Chinese are skeptical that China has such a hypersonic aircraft.
So, Rick, we have a reputable Chinese journal. It clearly had the story. I'm not saying that the plane exists or doesn't exist, but somebody was trying to send a signal, wouldn't you think? I mean, what are the possible explanations? Someone put up a story that they then realized was a mistake of disclosing too much, or they were trying to intimidate the United States. What do you think?
It has possible elements of all those, Gordon. We know that China is developing high supersonic speed aircraft, even unmanned aircraft. We've seen models of them. We know that China has built wind tunnels to test hypersonic speed aircraft, which is a very advanced thing. There are hundreds of Chinese academic engineering journal articles on all aspects of hypersonic power, hypersonic aircraft, hypersonic flight, and we also know that China is working on space shuttles. They have been testing at subsonic speeds a model of one since about 2007, 2006 maybe. We know that there's been a limited test flight for this vehicle, and it could have achieved a hypersonic reentry speed. Was this another test of their small space shuttle technology test platform? Was it a larger space shuttle? Was it a drone, a hypersonic or high supersonic speed drone? Again, the stock Chinese phrase comes to mind, no picture, no truth.
You tell me that it's associated with Chengdu. What's the significance of that?
The Chengdu Aircraft Corporation had the lead in developing the small technology demonstrator space shuttle aircraft that has undergone at least one test, most likely. And it wasn't a full orbital test, it was a suborbital test, meaning they sent it straight up and it kind of came almost straight down, but it flew a little bit. So it didn't have to go at high hypersonic speed of reentry that a space shuttle would normally accomplish, and then it wouldn't get lost. It stayed inside of China. That was the other consideration. But perhaps China is now testing this platform orbitally, which would account for the Chinese story saying that the mission lasted for several hours.
So, Rick, where is the United States in all of this? Do we have a hypersonic plane? Are we doing research? I mean, are we ahead? Are we behind the Chinese? Where do we stand?
Yes. Is there anybody left in the Chinese bureau since everybody's run over to the Syria bureau?
The United States had the premier high supersonic speed aircraft up until the end of the Cold War, almost exactly. The SR-71, Blackbird, product of the storied Skunk Works of Lockheed Martin. We have the capability to build high supersonic speed aircraft. There are rumors that a successor to the Blackbird was developed. It's called Aurora. Again, we've never seen this. There are no pictures of it. The government has not revealed any information about this platform. Yes, we have the capability to build such aircraft, but our leaders, our military leaders, have decided that this has not been necessary. Although Lockheed has proposed a high supersonic speed drone just in the last 12 months. Will the Air Force bite? Well, if the rumors of a Chinese platform are true, maybe they will.
Harry, we have an X-37B that the Air Force took from NASA, and they've tried it out several times. It's been very successful. I think it orbits for like 9 million days. Does that describe something that could have been glimpsed briefly at Chengdu, an X-37B in the Chinese version?
Yes, John. And they do have their X-37B. We don't know that it has flown any orbital missions as of yet, but perhaps that's what they just did. And our government has not gotten around to telling us about it.
Isn't it cool, Gordon, to have something called an X-37B? Sounds like Rocket Rangers, something like that. A detail here, though, the timing, Gordon. Is it possible we have elements in the Chinese military who do not check with the diplomatic corps when Xi Jinping is due in Washington to make happy faces, and they put out a rumor like this?
Well, that's not only possible, it's likely. But also, you have generals and admirals who like to do these things on the eve of, the Chinese president visiting a counterpart in another country just to derail efforts. So, not only they actually time these things to make trouble for the civilians.
Yeah, Harry, didn't we have a Secretary of Defense visit Beijing, I think, and they just happened to unveil a stealth at the same time? Didn't that happen a few years ago?
Yes, it did. And also on September 25th, the day of the summit, China tested a solid fuel small satellite launcher that could easily be transferred into an anti-satellite launcher.
So if they have an X-37B, it was a good time to show it off then. Do you agree, Rick?
I agree, yes.
Gordon, and that isn't all that threatening. The X-37B just, it flies forever, but it's not to my knowledge, Rick, I'll check with you. To my knowledge, X-37B is not an armed platform, correct?
Ours is not. China's will be. There are many articles about how to bomb Earth from low Earth orbit in the Chinese engineering academe.
I just asked one too many questions. Rick Fisher, the International Assessment and Strategy Center, Gordon Chang, Forbes.com contributor. I'm John Batchelor.